Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 2026-03-29. Today, we're diving into some pivotal developments from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. We begin with a major semiconductor shakeup. Intel has officially announced a 6-month delay to its 7 nanometer CPU rollout, now pushing availability to late 2022 or early 2023. In its Q2 earnings release, CEO Bob Swan confirmed that Intel's 7 nanometer process yields are running approximately 12 months behind internal targets due to what he described as a defect mode. This is not a minor scheduling hiccup. The 7 nanometer node is foundational to Intel's next generation competitiveness, including products like the Ponte Vecchio GPU and upcoming CPU chiplets. The delay signals deeper manufacturing challenges, and Intel is now preparing contingency plans that include outsourcing some 7 nanometers production to third-party foundries. That likely means greater reliance on companies such as TSMC, which already manufactures advanced nodes for competitors like AMD. The implications are significant. Increased outsourcing can erode Intel's margins and potentially weaken its integrated device manufacturer model, long considered a core strategic advantage. Meanwhile, AMD, leveraging TSMC's advanced process leadership, stands to gain further competitive ground in both consumer and data center markets. For AI practitioners, this matters because advanced nodes directly influence performance per watt improvements for AI accelerators and CPUs alike. Delays at 7 nanometer ripple through hyperscale data center buildouts, edge deployments, and high-performance computing clusters. Hardware roadmaps underpin AI progress, and right now, that roadmap just shifted. Our second top story moves from silicon to speech governance. On June 9, 2020, President Donald Trump issued an executive order targeting Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act after Twitter hid one of his tweets and added a fact-check link. The move intensified scrutiny of how platforms like Twitter and Facebook moderate content. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg publicly responded, signaling discomfort with platforms acting as arbiters of truth. While legal experts suggest the executive order may not immediately repeal or materially alter Section 230 protections, the action represents significant political pressure on social media companies. Why does this matter for AI? Because modern content moderation at scale depends heavily on machine learning systems. Automated classification models, ranking algorithms, and large language models increasingly assist with misinformation detection, policy enforcement, and contextual labeling. Regulatory pressure on Section 230 directly affects how aggressively companies can deploy and tune those systems. The debate highlights a structural tension. AI-driven moderation is necessary for scale, but algorithmic enforcement decisions carry political, legal, and societal consequences. As generative AI further complicates misinformation dynamics, the governance frameworks surrounding platforms become even more critical. Our third major story takes us into the automotive sector, where General Motors is aggressively integrating generative AI into vehicle design. According to Business Insider, GM has partnered with startup Discom to transform hand-drawn sketches, including concepts like the Chevy P2, into fully realized 360-degree animations in hours or less than a day. Traditionally, rendering and iterating on concept vehicles required extensive manual modeling and handoffs between design and engineering teams. GM's generative AI pipeline compresses that timeline dramatically. Even more compelling is GM's AI-powered virtual wind tunnel, which replaces roughly 2-week computational fluid dynamics cycles with near real-time aerodynamic estimates. That shift from multi-week iteration to minute-level feedback fundamentally changes how designers operate. Instead of waiting for batch simulations, teams can iterate interactively, exploring aerodynamic trade-offs in near real time. The result is not just speed, but tighter integration between aesthetic design and engineering constraints. This is a concrete example of multimodal generative AI moving beyond chat interfaces into industrial workflows. We're seeing AI function not as a novelty layer, but as a core productivity multiplier embedded directly in product development pipelines. Our fourth top story focuses on the labor market implications of AI. Business Insider reports that artificial intelligence is reshaping the $400 billion management consulting industry. Recruiting data from Revelio Labs indicates that hiring for specialist roles in AI, data, cybersecurity, and supply chain expertise has risen between 20 and 35% recently. Forecasts suggest those specialist roles could grow as much as 60% over the next 5 years. In contrast, demand for generalist strategy consultants may decline by roughly 10 to 25%. Consulting firms are prioritizing professionals who can implement AI systems, secure data pipelines, and drive measurable operational outcomes, rather than deliver purely high-level strategic advice. For listeners in technical fields, the signal is clear. Domain specialization compounded with AI fluency is becoming the dominant career strategy. The era of broad advisory without deep technical leverage is narrowing. The market increasingly rewards those who can translate machine learning capability into operational transformation. Now, for a few other key updates in our lightning round. Leader LLM has released a universal LLM API client built around a compiled Rust core. The project, hosted at Kreuzberg Dev on GitHub, supports 142 providers and offers 11 native language bindings. It emphasizes supply chain safety, secrets handling, and built-in open telemetry observability. With composable Tower middleware and first-class streaming support through server-sent events and AWS Event Stream, Leader LLM aims to standardize multi-provider LLM integration for production teams. Proxy SQL has launched version 3.6 and introduced a new multi-tier release strategy spanning stable, innovative 3.1.x, and AI MCP 4.0x tracks. Announced by René Queneau, version 3.6 enhances PostgreSQL support, authentication reliability, Prometheus metrics, and adds macOS compatibility. The forthcoming AI MCP tier explores native AI integrations at the proxy layer, including retrieval augmented generation and natural language database querying, potentially reducing the need for separate vector infrastructure. The Cloud Hypervisor project released version 48 and implemented a no AI contribution policy. Maintainers stated they will decline code known to contain content generated or derived from large language models, citing license compliance ambiguity and limited reviewer bandwidth. Version 48 also adds Windows 11 guest documentation, inter-VM shared memory, and support for up to 8,192 virtual CPUs. The policy raises important questions about enforceability and the evolving norms around AI-assisted coding in open-source communities. Security researchers at Checkpoint have reported that Iran-linked operatives deployed spyware via fake shelter-related SMS messages during missile strikes. The campaigns reportedly involved nearly 5,800 attacks by around 50 Iran-tied groups, targeting U.S., Israeli, and regional networks, including healthcare facilities and data centers. The attackers combined spyware deployment with AI-amplified disinformation, underscoring how cyber operations increasingly blend digital intrusion with psychological impact. Finally, for those interested in foundational models, an updated explainer titled The Illustrated Stable Diffusion breaks down how Stable Diffusion uses a CLIP text encoder, a UNet-based latent diffusion model, and an autoencoder decoder. The article details technical specifics such as 77 by 768 token embeddings, latent tensors shaped 4 by 64 by 64, decoded to 3 by 512 by 512 images, and typical diffusion step counts of 50 to 100. It also highlights training on datasets like Leon aesthetics and explains why latent space diffusion dramatically improves speed compared to pixel space approaches. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.